But I want to remind people as I go through these simple values that the simple things to do are simple not to do. Gratitude is so powerful that there's not one person on earth that will tell you that it doesn't impact their lives in a positive way. There's not anyone that would doubt me if I told you to say thank you every day for 30 straight days, that it would change your life for the better, guaranteed. There's not one person that would deny me that. And here's the silly thing about gratitude. Of course, it gives you perspective. It allows you and empowers you to find the light, the love, and the lessons when there's no evidence or the evidence is contrary to where you want to be, especially if you're a real estate guy. Because several different days a week, there's no evidence or the evidence is contrary to where you want to be. And then somehow, some way, you get to where you want to be or even better. And so it's gratitude, actually. The simple 0.1 seconds that it takes. It's free, by the way.
Yeah.
It's free. It takes 0.1 seconds. So gratitude provides us perspective. Number two, the most overlooked value or pillar, forgiveness. I started to study forgiveness years ago in a book called The Course in Miracles, and starting to understand that next to gratitude, the sister of potential is forgiveness, because we are built for survival. Now, that's a good thing. We're not built for happiness. But if you want to reconcile surviving with surviving happily, you need to forgive yourself, because in order to live, we need to make mistakes and learn from those mistakes. You see, life's about lessons. The lessons keep on coming until we learn them. We keep on making and learning the same lessons until we learn them. And we see that all the time. So forgiveness brings us ease. It allows us to be in the flow. It shortens the distance of resistance that we create for ourselves by thinking we can forcefully make our way to where we want to be or better, instead of being grateful for the evidence that is here today and being forgiven for the mistakes that we've made to get to where we are today. Now, the third pillar is accountability. There's only one purpose of accountability. It's to have control in chaos. You see, accountability gives us control in the chaotic world, because it allows us to say, okay, all this shit happened that I didn't want to happen. What did I do to be responsible for it happening? What did I do to attract it to myself? What am I doing to participate in the perception? So what? So I can learn from it. And when we learn from it and we perceive in forgiveness to learn from all of the shit that we don't want to happen, we actually take control back from the chaos. And we are now at ease and calm and confident and comfortable in the trajectory, so that we can utilize our discipline in a devotional manner to get to where we want to be or better. Then finally, the last one is effective communication. Most people think that I mean communicate with other people, which is part of it. But the real nuance of inspiration, of living in spirit with the infinite amount of intelligence, intuition, and energy that exists, is to understand how to communicate with the infinite itself. And so when we communicate with the infinite intelligence and allow it to come through us through gratitude, forgiveness, and accountability, we actually live in spirit. So instead of living your life trying to find your why, to figure out your purpose, you now apply your why. And each and every day, by stating, I am infinite, I am happy, I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am worthy, I'm just here to figure out what I'm doing to interfere with it.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer in the law of attraction and manifestation. And certainly that's something that you talk to a high degree. And yet, when I think about the goals or the vision, or try to get clarity on where I want everything to go, that can sometimes trigger anxiety. And so it's like this balance of like creating that direction, but not letting yourself get too far past today, because the only thing that we have in control of it right now is today, and how we feel right now. How do you balance that? To have big drive, big goals, but live in the moment.
That's probably the biggest conflict that people have in understanding the idea of manifestation and allowance and surrender, faith, wisdom, all of these different things. You see, what I try to do is to help people understand that the true nuance of goals or objectives is to set them and then categorize the behaviors to get there. You see, don't attach your emotions to, I want to make over $1 million. That's great to say. I want to make over $1 million as fast as I can, not by the end of the month, not by the end of the year, because that creates force, which creates counterforce, which creates resistance, lying, cheating, manipulating, overselling, back end selling, denying, all those things will occur. What I suggest you do is say, this is what I want or better. So I'll say, I want to make over $1 million as fast as I can. Now, once I set that trajectory of more than enough, all I need to do is categorize my behaviors and say, okay, are the behaviors activities of today? Because like you said, you're living in the same common denominator that I am. I call it God's guarantee that we have 24 hours a day, every day of our life, except for the last day we'll be cheated. So we're going to say both of us share the same objective. We both want to make over $1 million as fast as we can. Good objective. Now, today, I'm going to look at my behaviors, either non-negotiable behaviors that say, no matter what happens today, I know that I need to spend a minimum of 7 hours on my sleep, minimum of an hour on my health, a minimum of an hour on my family, a minimum amount of time on my finance, a minimum amount of time on my faith, a minimum amount of time studying time, and a minimum amount of time studying the meaning of that time, the relativity of it, which leaves me about 12 hours to prioritize and categorize, is this behavior, because I know the non-negotiable behaviors are aligned with me making over $1 million as fast as I can, taking care of my sleep, my health, my family, my finance, my faith, the study of time and relativity. But the other 12 hours of awake time, I need to prioritize by categorizing, is this activity, driving to this place, for example, is it aligned with me making over $1 million, or is it interfering with it? Is this thought, is this feeling, is this word, is this activity aligned with where I want to be or better, making over $1 million as fast as I can, or interfering with it? And when I start to categorize and attach my emotions to the behaviors for the sake of making over $1 million, for the sake of helping a lot of people, for the sake of having a lot of fun, I now shorten the distance of resistance, decrease the amount of resistance that's incorporated in attaching my emotions to an outcome of, I'll be happy when I make $1 million. Instead, I want to make over $1 million, and here's the behaviors, non-negotiable and negotiable, each and every day that are either aligned with that or interfering with it.
So did you like this episode of the TMA Connection? Well, you might want to check this one out right here. Go ahead, click it.